What's going on YouTube? So the BMW 5 Series is one of BMW's longest running nameplates, and that's probably because it combines a lot of appealing aspects from both the 3 Series and the 7 Series. Now, for 2021, they are putting it under the knife for a quite extensive refresh, both with visual updates you notice right off the bat, and also some updates you'll notice behind the wheel. So with that all said, let's go ahead and see if this is the mid-size luxury sedan to buy. Alright, so with this refresh, BMW did a lot of work with the exterior, and that of course is what you're going to notice right off the bat with this refresh. So I want to start off with the grille. This is quite a bit different than it was last year. You'll notice that it is narrower and it's also wider, and that just kind of brings it more in line with the 7 Series, but the grille of course is not quite as gigantic. Now with the 5 Series you have both Sport and M Sport design themes. This is the standard Sport version. If you choose the M Sport, this lower fascia will be a bit more aggressive. Now coming over here to the side, this is the other big part of the refresh, and that's where we have brand new headlights. So you have standard full LED adaptive headlights. Just like with the grille, they slimmed down to be a more narrow design, and they're also longer and come all the way out to touch the grille. And then you also have the new L-shaped daytime running lights, which once again kind of harken to that flagship 7 Series. So let's talk about the wheel designs. Now of course, as a BMW, you have tons of different options. You're going to start off with 18s on the Sport and 19s on the M Sport model. However, we've got optional 19s, as you can tell. There are also some 20-inch options as well. Now, coming on up here to our mirrors, you will notice all the features, and they're going to be standard across the board. So you have power folding, heating, auto dimming, as well as blind spot monitoring.
All right, so now let's go ahead and check out the rear design of this refreshed 5 Series. Now back here you're going to see less differences than you are in the front. That is not to say that BMW hasn't changed anything though, because they have revised quite a bit to make it look more modern and more like that new 7 Series. So as far as your taillights, these are going to be slightly revised. These have a new L-shaped design, and they are going to be fully LED. And then dropping down, you're also going to notice there's changes here at the diffuser, since you're going to have trapezoidal exhaust outlets for 2021. And if you go for that M Sport trim level, you will have a sportier rear design down here. Now as far as your safety systems, BMW is going to throw in a handful of them standard on the 5 Series. The standard ones are going to be automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection and auto high beam headlamps. Then you can add the Driving Assistance Plus package, which will throw in adaptive cruise, evasive steering assist, and a traffic jam assistant. Well guys, the exterior for this 2021 5 Series has changed quite a bit, but now let's go ahead and hop on the inside, see if BMW has done much in there. But before we do that, hit that subscribe button down below.
So with the refreshed 5 Series, you've got a couple different ways to get inside. Of course, you will have a standard smart entry system with that typical BMW key fob, but you'll also notice we have their new digital key on deck, which allows you to keep this inside, for instance, your wallet or something like that. Now, of course, to get inside the vehicle itself, just grab behind the handle since there is a sensor. Alright, so taking a first peek inside of this cabin, you're not going to notice a ground up redesign of the interior, but as we go through you'll notice there's a lot more details and features that are different than what initially meets the eye. But let's go ahead and talk about the different interior material and color options. So of course you've got quite a few. Starting on this model here, we have the new Sensatec leatherette option, which has the quilting in the middle, and that comes in black, cognac, or Canberra beige. As you go up, you have an optional Dakota leather, and that comes in black, cognac, or a ivory white. And then finally, you can end up with quilted Napa leather, and that comes in the same colors, but you have mocha option as well. Now turning over here to your door trim, of course you're going to find nice materials reflected up here. So you've got leather that covers all through this, as well as your armrest and above it, and you have the color contrast stitching detail. Right here we've got some wood. You have several different selections of wood you can choose between, or an aluminum. And then of course you have 2-person memory seating and 4 fully automatic windows. And coming over here to your seat, you have a standard 16-way power adjusting seat on board. It does have power adjusting bolsters and a thigh extension. You can get a 20-way power adjusting seat and massaging as an option. And like I was already mentioning, we actually have the base Sensatec leather seat. And I have to say I'm extremely impressed by this, because you would not guess that this is not real leather. It feels very realistic, and also they've done a great job making this a premium looking seat with a lot of stitching, quilting, and really nice bolsters. Now, of course, as you would expect, you do have very nice materials throughout this cabin. So starting at our upper dashboard, this is going to be finished in a soft touch plastic. You can get a leatherette material across the dashboard if you prefer that. Down below that, we have some wood trim. Once again, you can get lots of other types of wood and aluminum. Going down, you'll have more soft touch plastics, nice padding through here for your knee to rest against, and a lot of wood and piano black all through here. And of course, everything does fit together extremely well. Now, to start up every version of the 5 Series, you do have standard push button start. And once everything starts up here, you're going to be greeted with BMW's signature digital cockpit system. So you have a gigantic 12.3-inch display. Of course, like in other BMWs, this is fully reconfigurable, so you can change lots of different things about the design, and it does update when you switch into different drive modes as well. Now, in addition to that, we don't have it because we don't have the premium package, but you can get a head-up display. Alright, so coming back to the steering wheel, of course we have electric power assisted steering with a beautiful leather wrapped wheel, including leather on the airbag cover, which I really like. This here is the sport steering wheel. If you choose the M Sport model, that's going to give you that classic M design where everything is round. On the board here, we have the standalone option of heating, and then the steering wheel itself is going to be power adjusting as standard equipment on every 5 Series. But anyways, let's go ahead and check the storage as the next thing. So we'll start out underneath the center console. Typical BMW fashion, it does open up to both sides. And once it opens up, you'll notice a pretty good amount of space. We have a nice felt lining along the side, as well as a rubber mat on the bottom and a USB Type-C port. We'll go ahead and grab out our coupons, stick them in. It's going to be a little tight, it looks like, but we can kind of push them in. It looks like they'll fit just fine. Now, there is a good deal more storage. Once you push back this piece of wood, you'll find your 2 cup holders. You'll also find a nice pad here, which is a great place to stick your phone, and it does double as a wireless phone charging pad. We have a USB port and also a 12-volt outlet. Now, coming back to the shifter, of course, if you've been in any recent BMW, you'll recognize this is their typical electronic shifter. So you just press the button on the side and pull back for drive. You can bump over here to the left if you want to do some manual shifting, and we also have standard paddle shifters. Now, to go into reverse, you'll just push up to the top, and when you do, you'll notice a standard backup camera on all models, but we actually have the 360-degree camera system since we have the parking assistance package. So as you can see, a really nice big crisp picture. You have both your traditional view, your 360 view, and you can also bump over here to the side and activate the really cool 3D view. So you can just spin around the vehicle like this. and see everything around it. Just really, really impressive stuff. Then for park, just press the P on the top. Right behind that, you're going to find your electronic parking brake as well as your brake hold function. And now moving on up the dashboard, the next thing we come to is our dual zone automatic climate control setup. This is a very simple setup. We have physical knobs right here to adjust your temperature as well as your fans, and everything is located, here physically so you can easily reach it. You also notice we have 3-stage heated seats. These are going to be part of the convenience package. However, if you want ventilation, that's going to be in the luxury seating package. And then right above that, we also have some physical controls for your audio system. Now, as far as the audio system itself, what we got on board for our model is a 205-watt 12-speaker sound system. You can get an optional 16-speaker Harman Kardon sound system if you prefer, but we'll go ahead and sample this standard option. So overall, sound quality is pretty decent. But if you're, really big into audio, then I definitely recommend choosing that optional Harman Kardon sound system. Okay, so now we're up here at our display. So this is one of our biggest 2021 updates, and that's that we have now gone to a standard 12.3-inch display versus the previous one, which is about 10 inches. That extra real estate is definitely a nice touch. And we also have on board the latest iDrive 7.0 software, and you can use both the controller knob down there, or as you can tell, you can also touch the display. One of the updates this year as well is going to be that you have standard Android Auto and standard Apple CarPlay. And moving on from that, we have a standard auto dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes. Then up here at the very top, you will find a standard moonroof. This is not a panoramic moonroof, though I will say it is substantially bigger than the average normal-sized moonroof.
Alrighty, now that I'm in the 5 Series rear seat, back here you're going to notice that you do have plenty of space and plenty of luxury as you would expect out of a BMW. Now, as far as your space is concerned, you're going to have 37 inches of rear legroom, 38 inches of rear headroom, which has put it on par with most in the segment. However, it is a little bit less than the Audi A6. Behind rear seating position, though, I would say 7 to 8 inches of rear legroom, and my feet can easily set up underneath the seat. Now, as far as your features, here in the center, we are going to have vents. However, on this particular model, we do not have climate controls, which I think definitely should be included on this model. And then dropping down, we have a little storage shelf. We also have a 12-volt outlet, as well as USB Type-C ports. We can fold down the center armrest, and that's going to give us pop-out cup holders. And then, off to the side, it is worth noting that you can get rear window sunshades with the executive package, and you can also get heated rear seats, although this model does not have that. Now, walking up to the tailgate, you are going to nicely have a hands-free power one standard across the board, so just wave your foot under the bumper to open up. And once it opens up, you're going to find 14 cubic feet of space in this cargo area, which actually is a quite large amount of space for this segment. It's larger than the Audi A6, and I was very pleasantly surprised when I opened it up and saw just how deep this trunk is. Now, as far as how they finished it, we do have a carpeting along the floor, and then off to the side we do have nets, and you can also fold the seats 40-20-40 split. Now here at your passenger seat, you are going to enjoy the same adjustments as the driver, so 16-way power adjustment, and you do even have the manual thigh extension. And then in front, we have a good-sized glove box. It's really nicely felt lined, dampened, and it's quite a bit larger than I really would have expected for this segment of vehicle. So lots and lots of coupons can go in there to go towards your car payment. And then up top, we do have a sun visor with a mirror as well as an LED light, and you can also detach it. However, you do not have an extension.
Nice. That's a really swift acceleration, especially when you consider this is the standard base engine. So we have the 530i, which continues to have a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 248 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, and BMW says that's good for 0-60 of 5.9 seconds, though honestly it seems like it felt a little bit quicker than that.
Yeah. Now, of course, there are different engine options for this 5 Series. So the 540i is going to be a 3-liter turbo inline 6-cylinder, and it does now have a new mild hybrid setup for 2021. That's its kind of big change, and that's going to have 335 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. The 0-60 on that is going to be 4.6 seconds.
Right, and with that mild hybrid, if you're not familiar with the concept, that basically like powers advanced auto start-stop, the ability to coast, different electronics inside, and just kind of boost power up a little bit as well as efficiency.
And then moving on from that, there are several other options. There's also a plug-in. There's also a plug-in hybrid model, and then there is also the 550i, which is that 4.4 liter V8, and that's going to have 523 horsepower, which is that's just like your insane performance option before you get to the M5. One of the things that really strikes me on that acceleration is just how quiet and refined that this ride is, even if you are really, pushing the throttle down as hard as it can go. That's really what this 5 Series does extremely well. When we first started with our test drive, that was the thing that struck me the most, was that it really doesn't feel that different from a 7 Series in the terms of refinement and quietness in this cabin. And when we get up to speed here, I will go ahead and get a sound level reading. And we're going to get it around 50 miles an hour. Incredible. That's what I was thinking. So this sound level meter really kind of backs up what I can hear audibly. It's sitting around 52 decibels going 50 miles an hour, which we've tested stuff like the S-Class and on, pretty much like this stretch of road, and it's really not that much different. So if you're looking for a lot of luxury, a lot of comfort, but don't want to pay the 7 Series price tag, this 5 Series is certainly going to impress.
Related to how serene it is inside of this cabin is also your ride quality. I mean, it is absolutely superb. Like Mason was saying, really that kind of what comes to mind when behind the wheel of this is that this is not that much different at all from the 7 Series, and that is high praise.
Yeah.
It's amazingly comfortable, really absorbs bumps, and when paired with how quiet it is, how comfortable these seats are, it's like just a totally relaxing experience, you could say.
And that's going to be today's slam dunk, is just that level of luxury. It's really very phenomenal. It's just one of the most impressive things that I can imagine about this 5 Series.
Ooh, I almost lost it there. I held it in, but what the hell? Phenomenal. And since you mentioned the slam dunk, I'll mention the air ball. For this, what we were thinking was just that maybe the interior design is a little bit more old-fashioned BMW. For this refresh, they didn't add like the latest design from some of the newest products. So not really a big deal or anything. But if you want like the most modern design, then like the 3 Series gives you that.
Yeah.
Up until this point, I haven't mentioned the transmission, which of course is an important part of the powertrain, but the reason why is because it's just so seamless. Like, I mean, it absolutely blends into the background. It really matches with the overall theme of this vehicle, which is just
Luxury.
Being comfortable.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just don't even really notice it going about its business at all.
And as far as the drivetrains, you're going to have standard rear drive, and then you also have optional all-wheel drive. And then going along with that, we'll mention the fuel economy. So if you go for the 30, which is what we have here, that's going to be of course, the best fuel economy that you can get, rated at 28 combined if you go for rear drive, and 27 combined if you have all-wheel drive. Now, if you go for the 40i, that's really not going to get that much worse fuel economy, coming in at 27 combined. So that's really impressive. And I'm sure you're probably curious, this is a BMW after all. So we've been talking a lot about the luxury and how nice it is in here. But, you know, of course you need to know the price. How expensive, how much is it going to set you back? The 530i is going to start at $54,200. The 530e is $57,200. 540i is $59,450. And then you have the 550i, that top dog model, that's going to be $76,800. Now, this particular 530i does have the all-wheel drive system, and it's pretty lightly optioned, especially for a BMW. So we have a handful of accessories, as well as the destination charge of $995, brings this one to $60,640. So definitely, if you're willing to not go for all of the options in this 5 Series, you can get a like 7 Series ride quality and comfort level at $60,000, which is very, very impressive. Well, guys, that's going to be it for this in-depth review of the 2021 BMW 5 Series. We really appreciate you watching, and if you've made it this far in the video, don't lie. I know that means you enjoyed at least a little bit, so be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out a lot, and when you do, it will show you all of our most recent content across the BMW lineup, as well as the competitive set like Mercedes-Benz. But anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.